The 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which stated simply, the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. It was finally passed by the United States Congress in 1919. More specifically on May the 21st, 1919 in the House of Representatives, and on June the 4th, 1919 in the Senate. In the Senate, it had 42 votes more than the necessary 2/3. In the House of Representatives, it had 42 votes more than the necessary 2/3 majority, and in the Senate it passed by a majority of 56 to 25. Several US states in western United States had already given women the right to vote, and indeed Jeannette Rankin had been elected, I think, in 1916 as the first woman to the US House of Representatives. Famously, she voted against the US participation in the First World War in 1917. Within a few days, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan ratified the amendment, their legislatures being in session. Other states followed suit at a regular pace until the amendment had been ratified by 35 of the necessary 36 state legislatures. At that time, as we remember, the United States had only 48 federal states. Hawaii and Alaska would join the United States in 1959 and 1960, if I remember correctly. So some 4 decades later. Many Southern Democrats, however, opposed the amendment, and Tennessee was the state on which its ratification hinged, and it wasn't until August the 18th, 1920, so over 1 year after the US Congress had passed it, that Tennessee narrowly approved the 19th Amendment, with 50 of the 99 members of its House of Representatives voting yes. And therefore the 19th Amendment became law, incidentally, in the same year as the 20th Amendment, which authorized prohibition. That is the banning of the recreational sale or sales of alcohol. And for the first time, all the adult female citizens of the United States were eligible to vote in the November 1920 federal elections, and then in those federal states which had state elections, whether gubernatorial or legislative or both, and then in those cities and rural towns that had municipal elections at that time. Already in 1878, a progressive member of the US House of Representatives, of course a man, because women were not allowed as members, had introduced a constitutional amendment to grant the vote to women. And it took the US Congress 41 years to enfranchise all adult female citizens of the United States to vote.